So when you come internationally to do presentations like I do, you have to try and win the audience over very quickly. So I'd just like to share with you my all-time hero. Would you like to see who it is? Just say yes, Ashley. Yes. It's this man here. So as a lifelong Manchester United supporter, every other week we used to sing the French national anthem, but I won't be singing it to you today here. But can I just say a massive thank you for coming here to hear me speak this afternoon. How many people here would like to increase their case acceptance of treatment plans with your patients? Put your hands up if you would. Only two of you. Okay, a few of you. Okay, so this afternoon, what I'm going to share with you is about 30 years now I've been delivering ethical sales and communication courses all over the world, mainly in the UK. And what I'm going to do this afternoon is share 18 hours of material with you in 2 hours. So are you quick learners? You have to say yes here. Are you quick learners? Charles says you are very quick learners and you can write quickly. So I'm going to share lots of ideas with you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share what actually ethical sales and communication tips are. I'm actually going to give you some real life skills that you can learn and practice this afternoon that you can use with your patients instantly when you go back to your practices on Monday. I'm going to share with you some of the big communication mistakes dentists and orthodontists make. And like I said, I'm going to teach you how to sell without selling. Does that make sense? Yes, so that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. So for the people that don't know me, I have a confession to make. Oh, by the way, I'm here over the next 3 days. So if you give me your email address, and I will send you my slides, so you can have those, no problem. So I'll send those over to you. So you don't need to take photographs, just ask me, and I'll send you the slides. So just a little bit about me for the people that don't know about me. I'm actually not a dentist or an orthodontist. I'm a business trainer for 30 years, although about 80% of my post comes as Dr. Ashley Latter. If only my mum was still alive, she'd be really proud of me. But I started working with dentists, and this is what happened. I was delivering a sales training course in my hometown of Manchester about 25, 26 years ago. And on the list of delegates, there was recruitment, there was engineers, hotel people, car salespeople, but right at the bottom of the list was 2 dentists. And I went to meet these 2 dentists and I said, why are you taking a sales training course? And here's what they said. He said, we're great dentists. We can place veneers, we can place crowns, we can do implants, we can do orthodontic. But what we can't do is sell it. And we talk very technical. And we give patients large treatment plans. And we always say to them, go home and think about it. And a common thing in the United Kingdom is they were not very good at discussing fees, the money. So if the fee was, say, €5,000, by the time it came out of the mouth, it was 4,000, and £1,000 or €1,000 went missing. Does anybody ever find themselves doing that, reducing the fee in the head? Is that common in France, or in the UK? It's very, very common. So they took part on this sales course, and they left on the second day, and I asked them, how was it? And they put their thumbs up, but I didn't think they really enjoyed the course. So don't ask me why, but I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you a ring in 6 weeks to see how the course went. Now, how many of you here have ever wanted to make a phone call, but you're scared of making it because you're worried about what the person might be saying? It may be a patient. And that was me. So I'm looking at this phone. And these are the phones in England 25 years ago. And it was like ringing a girl up for a date when I was 18. When I was 18, I'd pick the phone up, make the phone call, the girl would answer the phone, I'd put the phone down, run round the block, start all over again. I was terrible with asking girls for dates. I was very, very shy, no confidence. And here I am ringing up 2 dentists. But I made the phone calls, and 2 phone calls changed my life. Because both those dentists said that their treatment plan acceptance had increased, more patients were saying yes. They weren't discounting anymore. But the main thing they said was, we're now delivering the dentistry we love to do and our patients wanted. Would you do a course just for dentists and orthodontists? And I said yes, why not? And about 6 months later, I walked into a room and I delivered my first ever, we called it the 2-day, now we called it not a sales course, we called it the ethical sales course. Does that word translate in France? It's like, and we had to have this big word, communication. So sales was only very small, the communication was very big. And we had 26 dentists and we had some orthodontists as well. And they all said the same. They took the course, I telephoned every one of them up, and everyone said the same. Our treatment plans, acceptance increased, more patients saying yes. And that's when the journey started. So from literally 2 dentists, I've now trained well over 32,000 dentists, orthodontists, team members. I've worked very closely with the British Orthodontic Society in the UK and trained virtually all the orthodontists in the UK on how to sell and communicate ethically. And I've written 3 books, so I've got 2 books to give away here today. So I'm going to give 2 books away, so 2 of you will have a chance to win a book with me today. And I've been around the world delivering courses. So I've now delivered about 34,000 hours of training to dentists and orthodontists. Do you think I'm glad I made 2 phone calls 25 years ago? What do you think? And making phone calls to patients is still one of the best things that I can share with you, is to really, it builds great relationships and it will increase the number of referrals you will get into your practice. Just a little bit about me, just a few results. So I work very closely with a lot of the orthodontic companies, and we've helped them significantly increase their acceptance rate. And like I said, today I'm going to share with you just some tips that you can use on Monday. Just a little bit about me socially. My wife's with me. You'll see her this evening. My wife is Graziella. She's Italian. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary just 6 weeks ago. Would anybody here like to know how to keep a 25-year marriage going? Yes? Actually, being away from home about 80 nights a year really does help. And I have 2 daughters, Enrica and Martina, and we go skiing to Courchevel, France every year. It's the thing we enjoy doing the most. And when I'm not doing this, I do a lot of cycling. So that was me in Mallorca this year. Now, for you guys, would you like to learn some skills over the next less than 2 hours? Put your hands up and say yes. Great. Will you go all in then, yes? Yes. Will you have a go? Can I be myself and we can deliver some training for you that will make a difference? Now, just a couple of things that are really important. I've delivered this training all over the world, in 16, 17 countries. I know Charles was talking about the United States. I go 3-4 times a year to deliver courses out there. So this training works wherever you are based. So what I'm going to teach you will work really well, just as in France, work well in Belgium, wherever you're based, this will work. Now, one other thing that's really important. Over the next 2 hours, please don't make any assumptions about patients. And also, please don't put your own prejudices in the way. Now, what do I mean by prejudices? Is there any of you here that that love researching when you buy things personally yourself. You like to research a lot. You go on the internet. How many people here do research? I know a lot of dentists and orthodontists in the UK research a lot. Yes? Do you? We had a dentist on my course last week who openly admitted he spent 30 hours researching the purchase of a washing machine. That is very common. 30 hours. And he's a male. So he's not even, it's for his wife. And he's every single night is researching. Now, here's what I've discovered. And I'm generalizing. Dentists or orthodontists that research a lot are not very good at closing a treatment plan. And they tend to say to patients, here's your plan, go home and think about it. Can you relate to that? And do you know why you do that? It's because that's what you would do yourself. Does that make sense? So by the way, I'm totally against hard closing. It's wrong. I'm going to teach you ethical skills. So please don't have your own prejudices in the way. So, how many of you here are in sales? Put your hands up if you are. So we've got about 6 people. And those hands are going up 5 minutes later because the question's just been translated. Okay. How many of you here... By the way, I'm hoping my English humour will get over in French, so we'll do our best. But how many of you here have heard the story of the bunny rabbit and the snake? Would you like to hear the story of the bunny rabbit and the snake? Yes. You have to say we. Yes, we. Would you like to hear the story of the bunny rabbit and the snake? Yes. Yes, okay. So the bunny rabbit and the snake, they bump into each other in the forest. And the bunny rabbit said to the snake, "Who are you?" And the snake said, "I'm blind, I can't see." So the snake said to the bunny rabbit, "Who are you?" And the bunny rabbit said, "I'm blind, I can't see either. So why don't we touch each other today, and when we leave, we'll know exactly what we are." So the snake said, "That's a really good idea. I will touch you first." Do you want a cigarette? No, okay. So the snake touches the bunny rabbit and says, "Wow, you're all furry. You've got a big bushy tail, big bushy ears. I know what you are. You're a bunny rabbit." And the bunny rabbit's excited and is hopping around. The bunny rabbit starts touching the snake. And he says, "Wow, you're all slivery. You've got shark fangs. And you've got really beady eyes. I know what you are." And the snake says, "What am I?" It says, "You are a salesperson." No? Not bad. Okay. Would you agree every single person in your office, in your dental practice, is in sales? Every single person. The most important person in your practice is this person here, the person that answers the telephone to your new inquiries. How many people here actually own their own practice, are business owners? Okay, got quite a few of you. This is the most important person in your business because they answer the phone to your new inquiries every day. Would you agree? And whether they answer the phone well or don't do a good job, they'll decide whether the patient comes to your office or goes to the office down the road. Okay, they're the most important people in your practice. And here's a tip. Do they answer the telephone in your practice at the reception desk? It is the worst place to have your phone answered at the reception desk. It needs to be answered away from the desk, because every time a new inquiry comes into your practice and they are answering the phone at the desk and there's patients in front of you, all they want to do is get the phone down as quickly as possible so that they can deal with the person in front of them. So it's the worst place. So all my best clients in the UK now answer the phone away from the desk. You must do that in your practice. If you just did that one thing alone, if the rest of my presentation you do not like, I need to let you know I'm okay with that. But if you just did this one thing, it will make a big difference to your practice. And now in the UK, how many of you have ever had, are you familiar with somebody called a sales prevention officer? Does that translate in French? Okay. So a sales prevention officer is someone, have you ever had a patient who are 99% they want to go ahead with the treatment, and they come to the reception desk and they say 6,000 euros, you know, for this orthodontic treatment. Now, what do you want? You want the receptionist to say, yes, Charles is a great orthodontist, he'll do a great job. But in the UK, we get sales prevention officers, and they say, yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it? Don't let him know I've told you, but they've got an offer down the road. It's 500 euros cheaper. Now, have you ever met these? Do you have these in France? Yes? Everywhere. So, sales prevention officers. So, in your practice here, when a patient comes in, they speak to the receptionist, they speak to the nurse, they speak to the orthodontist, they speak to they're touching everyone. And everyone can influence whether a patient goes ahead with treatment or not. Now, this is my favourite hotel in the world. It's in a place called the Lake District, which is in the north of England. It's where our mountains are. And my wife and I, we go walking about 6-7 times a year. And this is a hotel called the Linthwaite. Now, we have been every year to this hotel on my wife's birthday. Every year. And the last time we went, just before COVID, the waiter came up with our food, took our order, and before the first course arrived, my wife, Grace, said to me, why don't we go to another hotel round the corner next time we come to the Lake District? And I said, I don't mind, whatever. 10 minutes later, the waiter came and he said, Mr. and Mrs. Latter, here's your starters. Mrs. Latter, last year you told me you were allergic to caviar. We have taken it out. Enjoy your starters. Now, is that waiter in sales, yes or no? Yes, he is. Because he's just guaranteed our business next year. So everyone in your practice, in your office, is in sales. Now, what is ethical sales? Now, it's building rapport with the right type of patient. It's building relationships. And I'm going to share with you today the 2 best ways I know of building relationships with people. I'm going to show you the 2 best ways I know of getting people to love you in seconds. Okay, and I'm going to share with you today. Now, the second thing about ethical sales is asking questions. The better questions you ask, the better opportunities you will create. And I'm going to share with you some tips today on how to ask questions that will help you make your relationship stronger with the patients. Now, the third thing we do in ethical sales is we solve problems in a language that the patient understands. Now, do you ever find yourself talking very technical about the treatment? Yes or no? Sometimes. Most of the time. So let me give you an example. So let's imagine I'm a travel agent and you four come to me and say, we want to go on holiday, Ashley. And I say to you, what are you looking for? And you say, Ashley, we don't care. As long as it's got the sun, the sea, the sand, and the sangria. Oh, did you think I was going to say sex? I've got you two organised. Right. So should we go through that again? It's the sun, sea, sand, and sex. Okay. Okay, now, I'm feeling sorry now for the translator because she's got this. Okay, now, let's imagine, now that's called the destination. Okay, does everybody understand? The destination. Now let's say I now go back and say, lady, the good news is I have found your destination. Before I show you where you're going, I would like to give you a quick 30-minute presentation on the aeroplane that's going to get you there. You're going to be going on a Boeing 747 plane. Okay. It's got a 1.4 cylinder engine. Can you see how the wings are made? It's twin cammed. Just have a feel of that one. Are you interested?
No.
No. Why?
Too technical.
Too technical. Now, what do dentists and orthodontists love to talk about? The destinations or the aeroplanes? Aeroplanes. What are patients interested in? The destination. So today I'm going to share with you some simple language that can turn around and help you when you are presenting your treatment plans. Okay? Now the last thing about ethical sales is when you turn around to the patient and say, well, here's your problem, here's the best solution or solutions for you. Mrs. Patient, how does this sound? And hopefully the patient comes back and says, that's exactly what I am looking for. I would like to go ahead. So what I'm going to go through with you in the next, like I said, in 1.5 hours, 90 minutes or so, is some quick tips that can help you. Now, before I go any further, what I'd like you to do, please, is this. Okay? I'm going to have a little rest for just 4 minutes. What I want you to do in your teams, please, I want you to think of somebody who you know who's really good in sales. Now, it can be a dentist or an orthodontist. It can be any industry. I am not bothered. But I want you to discuss in your... it could be Charles, yeah. Is he a good salesman? Would you like to know how I got here? He was on holiday with 2 of my friends, and he went upstairs to Google me, came down and said, that's a man I need to have to speak at my conference. And the next minute he's ringing me up, and I don't know who this man is. And I ring up my friend. I said, this crazy Frenchman has just called me. Who is he? And anyway. So is Charles a good salesman?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do in your teams, please, is write down the skills and attitudes of somebody who you know who is successful in sales. And in your teams, can you please discuss what traits, what skills, what attitudes do they have? Does all this make sense? Just say yes, Ashley. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work just for 4 minutes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to elect a team leader from each group. Okay? Now, this is really easy. Can everyone please put the finger to the sky like me? Or copy me. Everybody put your fingers up. Okay, when I say go, point, put your hands, fingers up. When I say go, point to the person in your team who is the team leader. Go. Okay, so, team leaders, can you write down, you need to get at least 5 skills and attitudes from your people. Now, can I just say one thing? Team leaders, can you put your hand up, please, so I know where you are? If you got chosen, it's because you're the most beautiful person in your team. Yeah. Okay, you've got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Have a chat amongst yourselves.
Ouais, qui connaît bien son... Je m'explique ce que tu fais.
Non. Mais vous ne pourrez pas garder. Avant que le médecin soit au courant. Elle relaie, elle réexplique, des fois ils ont besoin d'avoir un rapport de hiérarchie.
Charles, do these people here, what percentage are dentists and what percentage are orthodontists?
c'est facile. Alors, si le département de la télé, et puis il y a pas de rapport de hiérarchie, elles sont plus accessibles, si tu veux, pour quelquefois, d'accord, par les techniquement. C'est l'approche de l'accessibilité. Non, en fait, ça veut dire qu'elle répond oui, ou que vous mettez ton patient sur la voie. Des fois, il est pas voilà.
En fait, il est plus à l'aise, les gens, ils sont plus à l'aise avec ton assistant. C'est pas
Ça te permet d'avoir de casser.
So, okay, so team leaders, very quickly, we'll just go around the room. So, is it Francois? Okay, just give me one minute, please. 1 minute. Okay, so just give me 3 or 4 from your list.
So, the first one is empathy.
To show empathy, would you agree? Yes or no? Yes.
Second one is perseverance.
Yeah.
Third one is self-confidence. Fourth one is challenging, to be a challenger.
Okay, to be challenger, to go outside their comfort zones.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you. Who else, please, has a list? Who else was team leader? Anybody from this table? No? Okay, so we've got empathy, the self-confidence, the persevere. Anybody else, team leader, would like to say some?
The knowledge of the values you are selling.
Okay, so they got the product knowledge
Right.
and the values and they believe in it. Good.
Also how to guide a conversation into a funnel to drive the patient towards
The solution. So they can provide, they can tailor the solution.
well, you can
Yeah.
discuss with the patient, but you know how to drive him until he says yes.
Right.
Not having some open questions.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Someone else, please? Any more skills and attitudes? They're modest. Okay, someone else? Anybody else?
What they say about care.
They care. They're attentive. Good, thank you. Anyone else?
Good listener.
They are very good listeners. Would you agree, yes or no? Brilliant listeners.
Passionate.
Would you agree they're passionate about their subject, yes? Are you passionate about what you do? Yeah, good. Any more? And they are professional. Okay. Okay. Any more? They smile. Yes? Okay. Now, would you agree with all those traits, all those skills, all those attitudes, they are as relevant to you as to any other industry, yes or no? Everyone, passion, belief, good at asking questions, they listen well, they're professional, they show empathy, they're humble, they're modest, they're attentive. All these are just as important to ourselves as well. Now, here's what I've discovered over 26 years of working in the dental orthodontic industry. You need 3 things to be successful in sales. The first is the product knowledge. You need to know the product knowledge. It's important. However, in a consultation, 85 to 90% of your success is down to skills and is down to attitude. So such things as really good communicators, good listeners, okay, good at with people skills, good at closing, getting the commitment, good at discussing the benefits, the fees. Attitude, positive, they're flexible, they're attentive. Okay, they are optimistic and adaptable. So 85% of your consultation is reliant on these skills and attitude. Now, where do you think most orthodontists and dentists spend most of their education? Learning skills and attitudes or learning the product knowledge? The product knowledge. And it is absolutely vital, but only plays a very small part in the success of a consultation. So if you leave here today, and again, here's another big learning, that if you truly want to become successful, get more patients saying yes to your treatment plans in an ethical manner, then if you spend time learning the skills and the attitudes, as well as the product knowledge, your case acceptance will increase. And I'll share with you today some of these really important skills. So let's look at attitude first. Would you agree attitude is important? Yes or no? It's everything. Are you in France at the moment, or in Belgium, wherever you are? Is the news not very good at the moment? Is there lots of talk about the recession and everything else? Is that what's happening? Yes. It's the same in the UK. And before our Queen died, all the news was about gas prices, electric price. Everything was about the recession, everything else. So attitude is really important. Have you ever met anyone or worked with anyone that has cloud over their head? Yes? They come into work in the morning. They say, "It's raining. It's cloudy. Its traffic was bad. I'm sorry I'm late." Who's in today? Mrs. Jones, that witch. The day has just got worse. Do you have these people? Yes. Sales prevention officers. And what are they good at? Cloud for you, cloud for you, and cloud for you. So everything, the most important trait is, for me, is having a positive attitude. Now, many years ago, in the UK, there's a very, very famous film, and it's called Billy Elliot. Have you seen it in France? Who's seen Billy Elliot? Wow. It's great, isn't it? Very, very funny. If you haven't seen it, it's a really good film. It's about a young boy that becomes a ballet dancer in Newcastle, which is a really working class northern town. But it's a really good film. So many years ago, and this is going back about 15 years ago, my wife asked me, she said, "Ashley, I am absolutely fed up of seeing the rubbish bands that you take me to, the concerts. Can you take me to see something that I want to see for a change?" And I said, "Who would you like to see?" She says, "I want to see Billy Elliot." I says, "But that's not a band. That's a TV film." She says, "No, it's a musical and it's on in London. I'd like to go and see it." So I said, "Okay, I'll get tickets to see Billy Elliot." Now I rang up, this is going back 15 years ago, I rang up the ticket office and, "Can I have tickets for Billy Elliot for this Saturday, or a week on Saturday?" The lady at on the phone, she laughed. She was a sales prevention officer. She said, "The earliest you can get tickets is 6 months. It's full." I said, "I'll have those tickets then." So I bought 2 tickets to see Billy Elliot. Now I have to get a train from Manchester to London. I've got to get a hotel. And I'm doing all this for my wife, keeping her happy. So when I go to see Billy Elliot, I am about a 5 out of 10. I could take it or leave it. And there's 2,000 people in the audience. 2 hours later, there was a standing ovation that lasted 10 minutes. The place was, people were cheering. The performance was absolutely brilliant. I was up, I was cheering, and I had tears going down my eyes. Now, I've only ever cried twice in my life. I cried when my first daughter, Enrica, was born. I didn't cry when Martina came, my second daughter, because I knew what was happening. And I cried in 1999 in Barcelona when Manchester United won the Champions League. And I'm crying at Billy Elliot. My wife said, "If only your friends could see you now." At the side was a lady with the torch. You know, she took the system. And I turned round to her and I said, "I cannot believe I'm here on the best night ever." She said, "Sir, it is like this every single night." I said, "It can't be. How can they do this every single night? Surely they must get bored, fed up." Because this was on for 10 years. Now, they changed Billy because he was a young boy, so otherwise he would have been a granddad by the time it finished. But for 10 years, 2,000 people every night. And the lady said something back to me that changed my life. She said, "Sir, it's like this every night because before they go on stage, they have a group huddle. And they say, let's perform like it's the first night because this audience have never seen the act before." And when she said that, I hugged her. My wife said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'll tell you in a minute." Because I did not think when I delivered my courses, I delivered them like it was the first night. But I did from that moment onwards. And every time I deliver my courses, I deliver them like it's the first night. Next week, I'm in 5 different towns, in 5 different hotels, and I'll be traveling from the length of the United Kingdom. But every day I deliver the courses, it will be the best I've ever delivered. Because every day I am in show business. Now, let me ask you a question. Put your hands up if you are in show business. There's only one hand I can see. All your hands should be up. Every one of them should be up. Because when your patients come to see you, right, what are they buying from you? They're not buying braces. They're buying self-confidence. They want to meet a new person. They want to start a relationship. If it's a child, they want to have more confidence. They don't want to be ripped, called by the friends at school. You change people's lives every single day. Every day, I change lives, you change lives. Every single day, every single person in your office should be in show business. From when the phone is answered, right through to when the patient comes through the door. If they're not, and they're not doing this, you need to get rid of them. I know it's not easy, and France is probably the hardest place to get rid of people, but you've got to have everybody in your team who's really committed to making a world-class benefit. Because the patients know, would you agree? They know when it's world-class or not. Now, how many people here are the owner, the boss? Again, just put your hands up if you're the boss. Here's something that is really important. Whatever attitude and whatever mood you walk into the practice in the morning, your team go home in the same mood at night time. If you come in positive, you come in fun, you come enthusiastic, they act enthusiastic, they go home at night saying, I love working at this practice. So attitude is infectious. You come in positive, they go home positive. You come in miserable, they have a miserable day. So attitude starts from the boss and goes down to everyone else. So let's look at the skills. Now, in my training, I teach 8 steps to a perfect consultation. And I will go, I haven't got time, obviously, to go through them all, but I'm going to touch on 1 or 2 of them to help you today. So the first one is what I call the preparation and building rapport. So preparation and building rapport. The second is how we ask questions. It's the questions that we ask, and I'm going to teach you today really good questions to help you. The third thing about ethical sales is once you've done the examination, is providing a solution. The solution to the benefits. The patients buy the benefits of what you do. And again, I'm going to talk a little bit about this today. Then, of course, you need evidence. And then you discuss fees. And it's how you present the fee with confidence. Now, do you ever get price objections from your patients when they turn around and say, how much? Do you ever get those? Or that seems like a lot of money. So you've got to be able to overcome the price objection. And then we get the commitment, and then we follow up. We give world-class patient service. And then we get referrals and more patients coming through the door. So there's 8 steps that I teach, and I spend 18 hours on the course. But the first step, the most important one, is building rapport with your clients. Now, how many here are familiar with the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People? Have you heard of the book? Okay. It is the 3rd best-selling book of all time. Dale Carnegie wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Do you know what the first 2 books are? It's not these 2, no. It's the Bible and Harry Potter, yeah. Okay, so Dale Carnegie wrote the very famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And what he talked about was that if you are genuinely interested in people, they become genuinely interested in you. And the key word there is genuinely interested. So I have a client. Okay, so he's a very, very good client. He's called Simon Belford. He's a dentist. He's based in Bournemouth in the United Kingdom, which is the south coast. It's a seaside resort. One day he received an inquiry on a Friday evening for a patient who was interested in some treatment. He instantly replied back. It was orthodontic treatment. He instantly replied back. And over the weekend, emails are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And eventually, an appointment is made for 8:30 on a Tuesday morning. The night before, Simon is getting ready, remembers this patient coming through the door. He checks his email and sees that the guy is a professional speaker. He does what I do. He speaks in public. Before you know it, Simon's clicking on his website and looking at these videos. Now, Simon has just taken my 1-day speaking course, so he has a passion for becoming a really good speaker. The next morning, he's having a group huddle with his whole team, talks about this patient coming through the door. 8:30, the patient comes in. Simon shakes his hand, greets him, sits him down, 2 chairs opposite each other, and Simon says, I hope you don't mind, but I was looking at your website last night. What a fantastic speaker you are. How did you get involved in becoming a really good speaker? And the patient was talking about who? What's the patient talking about? Himself. Now, if you are that patient, what are you thinking? Now, if you are over 40 in the room, like me, you are probably thinking, wow, that's amazing. If you're under 40 or maybe in the 30s, you're probably thinking stalker. But 20 minutes later, the patient signed up to a treatment plan to round about £6,000, maybe €7,000. Now, what did Simon do well? Well, the first thing he did was he became what? Genuinely interested. And when you become genuinely interested in people, they become genuinely interested in you. And the rapport is the most important part of the selling process. Yeah, I cannot tell you how important it is. Because your patients are deciding in 2 or 3 minutes if they're having treatment from you or they're having treatment from someone else, if they like you or they don't like you. And building rapport is the key. So if you picture this, your reception team have taken a new inquiry, they have taken it away from the desk, they have got some information about the patient, and in a morning huddle, do you have morning huddles in your team? Like a morning meeting? And in the meeting in the morning, they say, at 10:30 this morning, Charles is coming in. He's a 45-year-old professional speaker. He's looking for orthodontic treatment. He just recently got divorced and he's meeting someone else. He's going to dancing lessons and he wants a new smile. And he's been referred to us by Fred, his friend. If you've got all that information and you can use it to build rapport, then the patient's going to think, wow, that is really, really impressive. So the key thing is the preparation is everything that you do before the patient comes through the door. And if you've got some background information about the patient, then it will help you build rapport. I remember in my own personal life, a few years ago, I wanted to borrow some money to help a friend build a house. And I needed to borrow £150,000. So I contacted 2 banks. The first one was my bank that I'd been banking with for 30 years. They're called the Royal Bank of Scotland. And I had 2 ladies coming to my office at 2 o'clock. And at 4 o'clock, I've got another banker coming from Barclays Bank. A client of mine is called Brian. 2 o'clock, 2 ladies come to my office. They sit down with me. And one of them turns round to me, Mr. Latter, tell me, what do you do for a living? I said, well, you've been my bankers for 25 years. Have you been on my website to have a look? She says, no, sir, I haven't, but tell me a bit more about your business. They did not know one thing about me. So in 5 minutes, I've decided, no way. At 4 o'clock, Brian Hargreaves came along. He sat down. He said, what a great training centre you've got, a beautiful suite. I love your website. How did you get involved working with dentists? And he turned around and said, so tell me, how can I help you? And I told him I wanted to borrow the money and this is what I wanted it for. And I ended up doing business with a complete stranger, somebody I've never met before. And I ended up buying £150,000 from a bank that I didn't, Now, today, fast forward, I've got my mortgage with them. I got a loan to build my training centre in Manchester. I bought some other houses, that all with Brian Hargreaves. So we've got a relationship now that lasts for many, many years. And you can do that the same with your patients. So building rapport, becoming genuinely interested, is the most important concept there is. Now, here's the second best way I know of building rapport. Now, this is a picture of my favourite picture of my wife and children. It looks better on this one. So this is my eldest daughter, Enrica. She's the one with the glasses. This is my wife, Grace. You'll meet her tonight. As you can see, I am punching way above my weight. Does that make sense in French? No? Punching way above my weight? No, okay. I'm very lucky to have her, yes? Okay. And this is a picture, this is Martina. Now, Martina is definitely mine. Would you agree she looks like me? Enrica, I'm not sure about, but she's definitely mine. Now, my wife is Sicilian. She's very strict, okay? And Enrica, about 3.5 years ago, she had a boyfriend. Although she kept him a secret. We knew she existed, but she kept him a secret. And I kept saying to Enrica, come on, bring your boyfriend home. She said, Dad, I haven't got one. What's his name? Come on. Dad, leave me alone. All right? Who's been there, yes? Okay. Now, 1 week I'd been in London, and I'd come home from a week away, and Grace, my wife, Graziella, she meets me at the door. She says, Enrica's boyfriend's here, Reese, is in the lounge. Why don't you go in and say hello? He's been here twice this week. He seems like a nice lad. Now, I'm now going back when I first met my father-in-law. He's Sicilian. And the only thing I knew about Sicilians, of course, is The Godfather. So I was very, very nervous. And I'm thinking, I wonder what this kid is, what he's like. It's my daughter's first boyfriend. Anyway, so I walk into the lounge. I open the door, and there was Reese, my daughter's boyfriend, lying on the couch. He's wearing shorts, and he's got white socks on, and it's December. Now, what do you think of first impressions? Not good. He looked at me, I looked at him, and he went, hello, Mr. Latta, nice to meet you. I turned round to him and said, son, nice to meet you. You must make yourself at home. My daughter's looking at me thinking, that's why I'd never bring a boyfriend home to see you. Now, what do you think of first impressions? Not good. But things changed in about 3 minutes. He turned round to me and said, Mr. Latta, do you do a bit of weight training on that? You look really good on that picture. And I thought to myself, what a nice lad you are. You see, what did he do? He paid me what? A compliment. And if you can become genuinely interested in your patients, and if you can become, pay your patients compliments, but do it sincerely and genuinely, you will build tremendous rapport with your clients. Because clients love to talk about who? Themselves, and they love compliments. I was at a party only a year ago. In fact, it was a party that Charles knows, my good friend Elliot, and I met one of a PA there, and we were talking for an hour. She spoke for 59 minutes. I spoke for 1 minute, and she went and told my friend I was the most interesting person she's ever met. I didn't say one thing about myself. And that's the impact it can have when you become genuinely interested in your clients. Because when you become genuinely interested, they become genuinely interested in you. So let's have a quick recap of some of the things we've covered so far. So building rapport, becoming genuinely interested, paying people compliments is the most important thing. Now, the second thing that's really important is how you ask questions. Now, just a quick show of hands, because I'm not quite sure if this is going to work well. How many of you here actually do teeth whitening? Just put your hands up if you actually deliver teeth whitening in your office. Keep your hands up high. Okay, so does everybody else not do teeth whitening? Okay, just keep your hands up high again if you do teeth whitening. How many is there of you? Is that half the room? Less than half the room. Okay, doesn't matter. Keep it, we won't do it. Okay, now. Oh, by the way, sorry, I meant to say this. We went recently to Bali, and we revisited our hotel. It's called the Indigo in Seminyak. And they send you an email. I'm part of the Intercontinental group. And they said, are you here for any occasion? And I just said, well, actually happens. It's my anniversary, my 25th, and we went in July. And when we went there, this is what we had when we came through the door. Isn't that nice? Just thought I'd put that in. Just the small touches can make a big difference. Okay, so here's the second most important part of the selling process, and that's asking questions. Here is the biggest communication mistake orthodontists and dentists make, is they sell the treatment without truly finding out your patient's wants and needs. Is they sell far too quickly. They talk about what they do without truly finding out the wants and needs of your patients. How many of you here have ever made an assumption about your patients from what they can and cannot afford? Be honest. Yeah, a lot of people do that. It's a big, big issue in the United Kingdom. So, what are the advantages of asking really good questions? Well, the advantages of asking really good questions is you can truly understand what your patient's wants and needs are. You can truly understand what your patient's wants and needs are. Okay? You are building really good rapport with your clients. You really connect with them. They get to talk about what they're looking for. All your clients are buying your treatment on an emotional level. And the more questions you ask, the easier it is to present the solution back to what they're looking for. And it cements and builds rapport. So ideally, you want to be asking really good questions. Now, as I've never done this, I've only ever done this a couple of times before, but as a thank you for inviting me to Iceland, I'm going to give you some tips here today that you can use on Monday that will really help you. In short, there are 4 types of questions that you can ask your clients. Now, if there's a picture of a slide that you need to take, this will be the one of them. Okay, so there are 4 types of questions. And I'm going to go through them with you now. Okay, so when a patient comes in for orthodontic treatment, you need to be asking them, how are things now? What is your current situation? What is it you'd like to change or improve about your smile? So that's called the current situation. Okay? Now the next set of questions you want to be asking is this. If we had a magic wand and we're looking at your teeth in 7 months' time or in 12 months' time, how long, what would you like to see? What's your desired situation? Describe your perfect smile. How would you like things to be? So that's called your desired. Now, here's the thing about when patients come to you. Have they been thinking about having treatment for a while, or have they just woke up that morning and said, now's the time? What do you think? They've been thinking about it for a while. So the next set of questions that you need to ask are this. Charles, how long have you been thinking about having this treatment done for? But why now? What's caused your interest now? Do you have an event or something coming up where this is really, really important to you? Now, when you ask those questions, there's always a reason why they want the treatment. There's always a reason. There's something coming up. Maybe there's something that's happened in their life. Maybe they want to meet somebody. Maybe whatever it is, a wedding, or they've got something coming up. And if you ask that question, there's always a reason. Now, on my training course over 2 days, I give people about 12, 15 strategies that I think are game changers. What I'm about to share with you now is a game changer. And a game changer is when you summarize back to the patient what they have just told you. And you do this like this. You say, Charles, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Would you mind if I just summarize what you just told me? And Charles is saying yes. So Charles, your current situation is you don't like the teeth at the top, the crooked. What you're looking for is your teeth to be completely straight at the top, and you'd like them closing at the bottom as well. And ideally, you'd like them whiter. Charles, you've been thinking about this for a while now, but the main reason why you are having the treatment is because your daughter's getting married in 12 months' time, and you want to look nice for the photographs. Charles, have I got that correct? What's Charles just said? The magic word, which is what? Yes. But how many times did he say yes? He said it many times. So when you ask questions and you summarize back to the client, they start to say yes. Now here's another great question to ask. Charles, if we could achieve this for you, what would it mean to you? What would it mean to you? What difference would it make? And the patients come back and say, it would enable me to smile at my daughter's wedding. It will give me more self-confidence. Now, what's the patient just doing? They're now what? Buying the treatment from you, and you haven't talked to them at all about any treatment. So it's called How to Sell Without Selling. And selling is not telling, it's asking questions. So here's what we're going to do, okay? I said to you today that I'm going to give you some skills and we're going to practice, okay? Is there one person in the room who would like some one-to-one coaching with me that possibly could change the way they do their consultations forever? If there's one person in the room who wants to work with me, I'm willing to coach you for 5 minutes, could possibly change the way you do things forever. Is there a volunteer? Looking around the room? Put your hand up, you're going to have a go? Okay, what's your name? Bilal. Bilal. Okay, Bilal, can you come to the front, please? A round of applause for Bilal. Well done. Thank you, Bilal. Okay, do you want to sit here? So, did you say B, Bilal? Yes. Yeah, you just got a big M on your thing there. That's nothing to do with your name then. Okay, all right. Can you be the patient?
Okay.
Yes, what's your name?
Patricia.
Patricia. Okay, so everybody stop what you're doing, please. I'm going to help you. I'm going to leave this here. First of all, can I just say thank you for volunteering to do this? Okay. I don't know if you're aware, in the Guinness Book of Records, there's a top 10 list of things that men and women fear the most. Do you want to know what's in the top 10? Snakes. Heights. Dentists aren't in. You're number 11. You just didn't quite get in. Spiders, flying, heights, volunteer. Yeah. So number 7 is deaf. Number 7 is deaf, but number 1 is public speaking. Did you know that? Not that we're going to get you to do some public speaking. Don't worry. So if you think about it, if you go into a funeral and he said, welcome to the funeral today. Would you like to do the eulogy, 20 minutes on John, or would you like to join him in the box? Most people would rather go in the box. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Patricia, you're in for consultation with Bilal. You've built rapport. Everything's going great. And you're going to say, I'm interested in orthodontic treatment. Now, what I'd like you to do, please, Bilal, is follow this little structure. And let's see how you do. Everybody, please watch. See how this... Is this, by the way, before I go any further, is this useful? Yes. Yeah? Is it different to how you do things now? Sometimes. Okay, so let's see how you go. I've got to be honest, I am going outside my comfort zone as an Englishman with all you French people. Never done this before, so I am going outside my comfort zone. So if you want to buy me a drink tonight, I'm good with that. Okay, so you ready to go? So Patricia, you're interested in orthodontics, and Bilal, you just say, Patricia, would you mind if I ask you some questions about how we can help you?
Okay.
And then follow this structure, okay? Shh. Everyone else, please be quiet.
So, Patricia, I would like to know what's your... do you mind if I ask you some questions? Okay, so would you like to tell me a little bit about your current situation? Why did you come to this office? What's bothering you?
Well, I like to have a treatment,
Okay.
and I heard about you.
Okay.
So well.
Okay, so show her a mirror and say, okay,
What's that?
that's a mirror.
That's a mirror, okay.
Oh,
So,
a mirror.
yes. So, can you tell me...
I know it's a brochure, but today it's a mirror.
It's a mirror.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so would you, by looking at the mirror, would you like to tell me exactly what is it that you don't like about your teeth? And let's say that if I give you a
Okay, just for purpose of this exercise, by the way, that was a great question. Only ask one question at a time.
Perfect.
That's it, because otherwise you'll forget. Okay,
So what's okay?
So what is the most that you don't like about your teeth?
good.
Well, I don't like my teeth.
Okay. Can you just specify what is it that you really don't like? One thing, the most that pops into your head now. Your canine. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You have to keep the mirror with you.
I keep the mirror.
Okay. So.
No, no, c'est pas
Okay. So.
That's a bigger mirror. You want a big mirror. Keep going, Bilal, you're doing fine.
Thank you. So it's you told me that this is it's your canine that you don't like, right? Okay. And let's say if she said the first yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say that I can make things happen and I have a magic wand. How would you like your canine to be? How would you like it to be, your canine? How would like your teeth to become?
Good question.
Well, yeah, I would like to have my teeth well.
Straight.
Yeah, straight and nice smile.
Okay. So you'd
That's
like your teeth to become straight and fix
Yes.
that canine.
Yes.
And would you like them to be more white?
Yes, why not?
Okay. So one other question. Why did you think about doing the treatment now?
Right, time out. Good question. Before you ask that one, you want to be asking, do you mind me asking, how long have you been thinking about it for? But then why now? There's a reason why, and the reason why is you can find out if they're ready to go now. Does that make sense? If they're really ready to go now. So ask that question. So do you mind me asking, how long have you been thinking about this treatment for? But what is it now? Okay, keep going, Bella. You're doing great.
So how long have you?
Oh, for years.
For
really?
for
Yes,
years.
For years, yes.
And
Ça marche pas? Oh, there? Okay. 4 years.
okay. And did anything happen recently that you know, like you're seeking the treatment now?
Well, I have a personal situation that was not very good, so well, I want to change. It's okay.
Great.
So, yeah.
So let's see if I just got things in order. So
This is brilliant. By the way, can I just stop 1 second? How's he doing? Really good. Well done, yeah. Okay, yeah. Now, if they had some really good rapport and she turned around and said, well, I've got a personal situation, in the UK, she'd probably just go, oh, I'm going to do, oh, you know, it'd all come out. Yeah, okay. But maybe not in France. Okay. Now, what you do here, you're doing really well, by the way. Thank you. Can I just say, by the way, thank you for doing this for me. It's a big honor. Okay. So what to do here is always say to the patient, Mrs. Patricia, would you mind if can I just summarize what you just told me? And let her say yes. And the reason is because you want her to say yes. Okay? So go on.
let me just. Okay, so let me just summarize what you just said.
Yes, yes.
So you just came to the office, came to me because you,
I heard about you.
yes, and then...
We can hear you. You're doing fine. It's okay.
Okay. And then,
I'll just switch microphones. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You're sharing now.
So you don't like your teeth, and more specifically, you don't like your canine, and you like to have a perfect smile, and you wouldn't mind having your teeth whiter, and you've been thinking about this for a long time now, and now you are trying to do the treatment now. You're thinking about it seriously because you have a special situation.
Right. Can you see how many times you're saying yes? Now, what have we got here between the patient and Bilal? What have we got here? Fantastic connection. Really good rapport. Okay, so the last question is, what would it mean to you if we could do this for you? What would it mean to you if we could do this for you?
So what it would mean to you if we...
Something great, really.
Can I add something? Can you use sometimes the word, how would you feel?
Now, that's a really good question. Bilal's just said, could you use the question, how would it make you feel? How many times, have you ever had a patient who's really emotional and they are happy to share? Who's ever had these patients? We call them heart on the sleeve patients. Yeah. So if you have that type of patient, I would say yes, how would that make you feel? But in this instance, Patricia's holding back a little bit. Probably, I probably wouldn't ask that, but it is a great question to ask. Okay, so yeah, go on.
So what did it mean to you if I can make this happen?
I'll be very happy. Yeah.
Great.
I could feel better.
Very happy and could feel better. Okay, now what's Patricia just done?
She bought it.
She's just bought the treatment.
Yes.
Has Bilal talked about the treatment? No. Has he talked about self-ligating brackets? No. Has he talked about the procedure, about anything? All he's done is built rapport and he's asked questions. Okay. Can I ask you, Greg, how was that for you? Was that good?
I enjoyed it.
Enjoyed. Okay. Can we give Bilal, please, a round of applause? Well done. And as a thank you, you have a choice of books. You can either have this one, which is called Don't Wait for the Tooth Fairy, How to Communicate Effectively and Create the Perfect Patient Journey, or this book, which is called You Are Worth It, How to Discuss Fees with Confidence.
If I haven't read any, which one would you recommend me?
Probably that one's that's the overall one.
Perfect.
And it's a thicker one as well. I will sign it at the end of the presentation. Can we give Bilal a round of applause? Well done. Thank you. And well done, Patricia. Yeah. Can I ask you a question, by the way? Do you ever have many patients coming in saying, I'd like my canine sorting out?
Yes.
Do they? Okay, good. All right. Okay. Well done, Bilal. Fantastic. Thank you. Now, can I ask you a question? Listen, we did this in 10 minutes. And on the program, I spend about 4 hours going through this material. There's a lot more questions we go through. But has that been a help for you guys this afternoon? Yeah? Seriously? Okay. So here's what I'd like you to do, please. It would be unfair if Bilal was the only one that had that experience themselves. It would really be unfair. So what I've got here now is I'm going to invite one more person to come up and to have a go again with Patricia. But this time, I am not going to ask for a volunteer. Charles and Elise were very kindly, they've given me all the list of the delegates here. I actually have them here in front of me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to point to somebody. And when I shout that person's name, can that person come again? Please work with Patricia. And we get a chance to work with one more person. So I've still got another book, you see, so I need to give this book away. So when you come up, please give that person a round of applause, okay? Now, I do accept that you can do this in French if you want. So that I understand a little bit of French. So I'm going to close my eyes. And when I say this person's name, please come to the front of the room. Okay? Wow. I'm only joking. How many of your heartbeats was going like this? Okay, how many of you here have got sweaty hands? Okay, I'm only joking. Okay, on a serious note, with the person next to you, okay, why don't you just have a go for 3 minutes? One person plays the patient, one person plays the orthodontist or dentist. I'll leave the questions on the screen. Just have a practice for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to sell and present the solution, okay? 3 minutes with the person next to you. Have a go. I promise if you practice this now, you will be using this on Monday, okay? You've got 3 minutes. Go. So, how's this gone? How did it go? Yes?
It's very difficult to get to be the patient, to be the patient.
Okay, okay. Can I just give me? Just tell you what, we've got 10 more minutes to go. I do accept that it's not ideal, and you're not the real patient, and I do accept that. Can't be perfect, but can you? Has this been useful? Yes. Yes, and especially for me, if you can summarize back to your patient using their own words, then you will see an increase uptake in treatment, because patients want to feel that you've really listened to them. Has anybody got any questions about this? They'd like to ask me any questions at all about this? 2 questions. Can we just one sec?
Yes, in orthodontic, we often we have and the parents and the child at the first consultation.
Yeah.
Do we have to converse with the child or?
Good question. So the question is, do we converse with the child or the parent? A very, very good orthodontist friend of mine said, the more rapport you do with the child, the better relationship you will have with the mother. So I would focus a lot with the child. And I always hear a lot of people say nowadays, well, children don't talk, or they're difficult. They talk if you find something that they are genuinely interested in. They will talk. But ideally, you want to be asking the child. Because often they will tell you they're getting bullying at school and things like this that they don't tell the parent. So I would probably spend a lot of time, if you can, with the child, but bring the mum in as well at the same time. Bilal, you had a question?
Actually, that wasn't my question.
The same question. Yeah. Good. Everything okay? Yes. Great. Okay. Now, so here's, like I said, one game changer. But here's what it is. Selling is not telling. It's asking questions. And the more questions you ask, the more opportunities you will create. So I hope at the start of my presentation today, I asked how many of you were in sales, and 6 people put their hand up. But I hope I've given you a flavour that actually selling is not talking. It's not hard closing. It really is about connecting with your patient, building that rapport, and how you ask lots of really good questions. Now, I'm going to do something now, but I'm not quite sure if it will transfer over in French. So I'm going to have a go. I'm going to be brave. Can I be brave up here? Do I know you well enough to say yes? Yes. Oui. Okay. So, Patricia, I want you to imagine that you are on your motorway. What's your motor? What's it called? Motorway in French? Yes. And it's a very, very cold, wet February. Yes. And it's snowing. It's raining. Both. In Manchester, we get everything. Yes, okay. And you break down.
No, slowly.
No, completely.
Completely, oh my God.
And you ring up the, now in the UK, they're called the AA. Do you have an equivalent? The guy, okay. And he says, I will be there in 1 hour, but you have to wait outside the car. Don't, because it's dangerous. Is this the rules in France?
Yes.
So you're waiting outside, it's cold, it's wet, your coat's not waterproof, you're getting wet everywhere. There's not one part of your body that's not wet. And the guy comes with his truck to fix you. So all of a sudden you start...
Nice guy.
A nice guy, yes, yes. And he comes and says, hello, I'll try and do a French accent. Are you Patricia? Yes. I have come to fix your car.
Fix me too.
Okay? Now, before I start, Patricia, fixing your car, I'd like to take you into the back of my van.
Yes.
And I'd like to show you how all my tools work. Follow me. I have a brand new tool that works really well that I'm going to use on your car. I'd like to give you a quick demonstration of how it works. Are you following me in the back of the van? No, please, come on. Come on. You're in the van. No. Now, why does Patricia not want to come in the back of the van with me? Because here's where she is. Because A, I haven't got any rapport. Okay. Here's the thing. She just wants her problem solving. Would you agree? Yes or no?
Yes.
Does she really care how I do it? Does she really care about my tools? Does she really care? Yes or no? No. She just wants to get to her destination. Now, I'll put it to you. I am generalizing. But do some of you like to talk about your tools to your patient?
Yeah.
Do some of you like to talk about self-ligating brackets and all the natite copper and all the other stuff that you... Yes or no? Sometimes. If I got your nurses in the room and asked them, does your orthodontist talk technical and do they bore the patients? Some of them will be going, yes. Now here's the key thing. Your patients, they will nod. They will go, yeah, I understand. I understand, yeah. They go like this. But when you leave the room, they come back to your nurse and say, can you just tell me what Patricia just said in French or English? Because she's, yeah. So always remember, your job is to find out what the patient's destination is and show them how to get there. But what they're not too bothered about is the actual plane to get them there. And yes, you do need to talk to them a little bit about the journey. I understand that. And you have to do consent. But really, what they're focusing on is, if you can help them get to their destination, you will have more patients saying yes to your treatment plans, all in a very, very ethical manner. Okay. Has this been useful? Yes? Has it been helpful? Great. Okay, so with the person, I'll have a quick recap of my presentation today. Let me make a quick recap. So, I said at the start of the day, how many of you are in sales? And only 6 people put their hands up. How many people are in sales now? Would you agree we all are? Every single person in your practice is in sales. Remember, the most important person in your practice is the receptionist, because they make or break whether the patient comes through the door or not. Ethical sales, although I cover 8 steps to a perfect consultation, it really is about doing 4 things extremely well. And it's about connecting with your clients. It's about asking questions, solving problems, and saying to the patient, is this the sort of thing you're looking for? How does it feel? Hopefully they say yes. Remember that 85% of your future success, the success of your consultations, are down to skills and attitude, and only 15% is applicable to the product knowledge. You can have all the product knowledge in the world, but it only plays a very small part. Remember, it's all about attitude. Remember the Billy Elliot story. Every single person in your practice is in show business. Okay, the 8 steps. There's the 8 steps. I've just covered a couple of them for you today. Remember, when you are genuinely interested in clients, they become genuinely interested in you. And compliments work really well. Remember the questioning flow, the 4 types of questions, the advantages of asking questions. The biggest mistake is selling too quickly. The more questions we ask, the better it will be. Okay? Remember the 4 sets, and remember the summarizing, and remember to talk about the destination, not too much about the aeroplane. Okay, so I have just been going just under 2 hours with the person next to you. Just to help me, can you please share with your colleague what's the best thing that you've got from today's session? What's going to change on Monday? Just share with your colleague. I'll give you 15 seconds each. Go. Okay, so I just want to say a massive thank you from today. I have one book left. It's called You Are Worth It, How to Discuss Fees with Self-Confidence. Who would like a copy of this book completely free of charge? Put your hands up if you like this book. Who would like this book? Who? Seriously, if you want this book, it's called How to Discuss Fees with Confidence and Achieve the Income That Your Services Deserve. It's here. Who wants a copy? Say that again. What do you have to do? Just come and collect it. Come on. It doesn't matter. You've got the book. Round of applause. You see, here's the lesson. Here's the lesson. And I'm just hoping my translator at the back there can do a good job. Okay? You see, lots of people in life want things. They put their hands up. I want that, I want that, I want that. You see, if you want things, you have to get off your arse to make things happen. Does that make sense? About a 5-minute delay there as it's been translated. Okay. Can I just say a massive thank you? Can we give our translators at the back of the room a round of applause as well? I'm going to tell you a true story. How many people here know a band from Manchester called Oasis? Put your hands up if you know Oasis. Okay, Noel Gallagher. Noel Gallagher. Oh, hang on. I'll say it again. How many people here have heard of a band called Oasis? Okay, so I'll tell you a funny story. Have you actually ever heard them speak? No. Right. Well, they're from Manchester like me, and they have terrible Manchester accents. It is bad. So, and my accent is not great. And I was in America just before COVID, delivering a course, and it was a Sunday morning. I just finished the program, and I was watching television. And if you go to America on Sunday mornings, it's all the religious programs, the church programs, you know. And I'm flicking through the TV, and all of a sudden, the interviewer said, we're going to have an interview with Noel Gallagher from Oasis. And I'm thinking, I am watching this. So the interview comes on, and as he starts speaking, subtitles come on the TV. So this is an American TV, and I tell you, so I felt really sorry for my translator in that box over there, having to translate me to 90 French doctors. So I hope she's done a good job for you guys today. Just a quickie. If you have enjoyed today, Charles and I have been talking together. We are very happy to do a course for you in France. I thought it was Paris. He's told me it's Nice. I don't know how I'm going to get to Nice in 24 hours, but anyway, we can discuss the venue. If you are keen to do a program with me, where I can develop all the 8 steps to a perfect consultation, speak to Charles over the next 2 days, and we will make that happen. I'd like to leave with one final slide. I don't play golf. I live on a golf course, but I don't play golf. But in 2018, Dustin Johnson earned $9.6 million playing golf. Number 50 was a guy called Jason Korak. And Jason Korak did okay. He earned $1.9 million playing golf. Now, they played hundreds of rounds of golf. And there's 18 holes in the round. Unfortunately, the slide is missing at the bottom. But the difference between number 1 and number 50 is 1.4 shots. Out of hundreds of rounds of golf, there's just over 1 shot. And what hopefully I've got across to you today is this is what ethical sales is about. If you just change 1 or 2 small things in your consultation, you can make a big difference to your income, to your lives, and your patients' lives as well. And I hope today that this Mancunian has given you some ideas to help with your consultations as well. So can I just say thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all later tonight. Thank you.